Rich, Angler from the Hood. What's up? I'm finally still got a little snot, but finally feeling a little better today. My body aches have passed. Finally, I had zero energy all week. Vince, what's up, dude? It's been awful. It has been awful. But I feel like I'm doing okay. I feel like I'm motivated to sand baits, which isn't the best task at all, but what really scares me is 2 weeks ago, Bean got the croup, gave it to me. I had the shit. Then took me about a week to get over that. Then I was good for about a week, and then we went to this farm, Halloween farm, fall pumpkin farm. Bean and I got sick there. Today I'm just getting over that. Took her to school today, and the teacher was like, "There's 6 kids out today with flu-like symptoms." It's like, son of a bitch. I was like, "Well, if they were here yesterday, they were probably sick then." It's like, I hope she doesn't catch that shit, and then I'll catch it. Then I'll be down again. It's really hard to get anything done when you're sick every other week. Because the weeks in between where you're well, you're really not that well. You're just kind of like getting by. You're showing up, which works if you're at like a regular job where you can like kind of just like get by to your better. But God, this has been a never-ending toilet bowl of being sick. Fish in the Southeast, how are you? AJ, what's up? What are you up to today? Pouring jigs? I'm out of focus. Oh, it's back. Morgan, Chris, everybody's chilling. I was just sitting here sanding, catching up on some. It's gonna be a short live today. I say that and I go 2 hours, but Marty, it's rough, dude. It is rough. I think if I didn't have to like physically come in here and like paint and produce something, it wouldn't be as bad. Like if I had to go sit in a desk at a bank, you could deal with like sick weeks and being shitty. Uh, but having to constantly like push yourself to be motivated when you're sick is pretty hard. Uh, it's pretty hard to stay motivated and to like scrape your sorry ass off the damn floor and do something. What are you doing, AJ? Selling shoes? Promoting for cheap bass? Morgan, yeah, I'm sanding. I'm sanding the little top waters. We got a few more. I've been working on them for a little while, but I was bored and it was quiet. I said I need to talk to somebody. Uh, I was watching. I got my mask. Marty, where's my mask? I can. Y'all can be my patients, and I will talk through my mask. Is this how you have to work every day, Marty? Um, But I had it in my mind last night that I was going to go home. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go home. I'm going to go home tomorrow. I'm going to relax. I'm going to chill out. I'm going to, like, you know, get deep into my own brain and my thoughts and my creative juices. And I'm going to think. I'm going to have a good think tank with myself. And I'm going to get out a paper and a pen, and I'm going to write down. I'm going to outline the colors that I'm going to put on these baits, and I'm going to think about it, and I'm going to come up with some really good shit. And I'm going to have it all mapped out. Get home, Bean's going nuts. Finally get her in bed at like 8:30. She's crying. I have to go back in there and like deal with her. Then I finally eat dinner at like 9:30, and yeah, no think tank for me last night. But so it'll be these will be another paint sesh where I just walk in there and line them up and start spraying. But I got to get the AJ. Do you have the monetization yet for your or not the monetization? Do you have the subscription link or feature? The subscription feature on Instagram. Does yours work? Like I have the link, but it doesn't work. Like it's inactive. Because I want to do this group thing, and because I would like to paint a lot of these for the group that would not be a standard color, something that I don't want to do a lot of. I think that's the main difference, is that I've got colors that I want to do in limited batches that I would like to do for group members, and I was going to do it through the Instagram subscriptions rather than Patreon, because that way yeah, they're always better when I have to cover up shit, Morgan. Like if I just start throwing paint at them and I'm like, yeah, it's not turning out right, and I have to keep transforming them to look right. It's in the like if you go to all your pictures, like your home page, right above your pictures, below your like profile information, there should be a little bar right there that says something about like business analytics or some shit like that. It was in there, but it wouldn't let me. It wouldn't let me click on my link. So I guess it hasn't activated me yet. Um, Ray, I am sanding a little balsa topwater that I will be painting for the website. Fishing the Southeast. I was the one that started that. I painted every one of those. There's 12 of them. Which is part of the reason that I wanted to get away from painting other people's baits, because he wanted to do something special. I couldn't get anywhere, AJ. It wouldn't let me click anything. Like it says get started, and you like, or it shows the link, um, and it won't let me click on it. Oh, good, Marty. I got 4 I had to fill some little dimples in. Can't see it. A little. I don't know what causes that. Um, but yeah, when he said he wanted to do his own thing, or he wanted to do that was like a Swim Bait Underground collaborative thing, and he wanted to do something special for it. And I was like, I got an idea. Let's do this. So after that, I was like, I don't want to give my ideas away. You know what I mean? Like I want to, like that's mine. Like if I'm gonna do that, I want to do it for me and my stuff. But over the years, I've gotten rid of a lot of good brain juice because I didn't have anything to do. So yeah, those were cool. I saw that. I saw there's a few imposters floating around. I saw where somebody got somebody to paint that color. Actually, whoever copied it did a pretty good job. It's pretty accurate. Not completely, but it's pretty close. I think that's brush strokes without epoxy or thin epoxy. Um, Stearman, I was watching that Hallman Castledine live a little while ago, and the part that interested me that you might could reflect on was when they were talking about how depleted they were after the opens, mentally, physically, financially, all that. Uh, Fish in the Southeast, that's the beauty of it. I can paint whatever I want. It's my paint jobs, my brainchild. The only thing I don't have permission to do is build a UFO bait. Um, but I saw that part, Stearman, and I was thinking to myself, if it's that bad in the opens, isn't it going to be 5 times as worse on the elites? Because your goals don't change. Like you still have goals. Like your goal in the open is to qualify for the elites or a classic. Um, and you move up to the elites, and all you do is go further into the hole, paying more entry fees. And your goals are then changed from qualifying to qualifying and winning a classic or winning a tournament. So I was thinking to myself, it seems like the elites are going to be worse when your entry fees quadruple and you're still doing the same amount of traveling. Uh, I don't know. Maybe not. I don't fish them. I'm just a lowly bait painter. But um, Jeremy, I think I'm gonna do some of those in these for sure. For sure. But it would be Marty have not um, but it'll be interesting to see Like if you could get a true poll, Poll, of of the current Elite Series anglers and ask them, is this fun for you? Are you having fun? What the percentage of people who are actually having an enjoyable career time or having an enjoyable time as a professional bass angler with 100% honesty. And it would probably be a deterrent to anyone looking to be a professional fisherman. You don't have a 250 boat field? Uh, but would you rather fish against 250 people that are lesser anglers or 100 that are better? Fishing the Southeast, I would agree. I think it's easier to make money at the highest tour level. Maybe. I bet the costs now are comparable between the opens and the elites. Could be. You rather fish against 100 on better fisheries. Yeah. 250 would get annoying. That's just a lot of boats. I agree. I'm with y'all. I would rather fish against 100 that are better. Because a lot of, I mean, there's probably a large population of guys that are fishing the opens that, they're just trying to get out of the house. Got a little spare change in their pocket, like bass fishing. They just want to get out there and fish at that level. Do they care if they qualify for the elites? Not really. I'd like to fish against those guys. I wish they'd bring co anglers back to the elites. That'd be awesome. Or they should at least do it for like one tournament to where to where you can co-angle. I guess I can marshal. But I'd just like to be. I'd like to get in the boat with one of those guys. Has any of y'all ever fished with a highest level professional? My luck, I get paired up with Bernie Schultz, and we go throw a Rapala jerkbait from 1960. I don't know, Jeremy. You would think that you're fishing for a living, so there's no way it's not fun. But I can see where the stress of having to perform and catch bass to feed your family, being broke or in debt would not be a lot of fun, no matter what you're doing. Jared Miller kind of counts. I mean, he didn't stay there, but Texas Fest, weigh the fish, that'd be fun. I wouldn't mind being with a dude flipping all day. But AJ, when you fish with Jared Miller, the when you got in his boat and he started like his day and started fishing, did you look at him and how he approached the water and say, "Wow, you're like light years ahead of me. Because I know when it comes to barbecue, when they say like, "What's the best barbecue?" and I went and thought I knew what good barbecue was, and I tried Franklin's, and I said, "Yeah, never had anything that tasted that good before." So I wonder if you hop in the boat with a pro, like a real one. A real deal. I have to look at the opens and see if I mean not the opens. I have to look at the uh, I have to look at the elite schedule for next year and see if there's any places I could travel to and be a marshal. I think it'd be fun. People bitch about not being able to fish, but I don't think it'd bother me. Is anybody marshaled? All right, one more. Last one. I really hate I missed the co-angling era. There's Stearman. He swapped. We were flipping cypress roots, and he was crazy efficient with his cast. So he excelled at casting. Anything else, Travis? I think I'm gonna do that Snow White SH4 on some. Um, I was trying to think of some way to do bone bone in a cool, creative way. That's just not regular bone. Uh oh. So we'll see. I have to sit here and meditate over it and see if I can see if I can get a good bone. Nate Rolling, what's up? I tell you what, I really want to do. Go fucking fishing. I've really got the itch. I need to go clean. I need to go clear my mind. It's not so much that I need to go fishing. I just want to go seek refuge in solitude in the boat and just listen to water hit the side of the boat, and then my reel, the level wind in my reel go. Maybe they haven't got the bugs out, AJ. I haven't. Did you see where they what they charge or what they take? The interesting question: what would be the most informative technique you would learn fishing with a pro, or would you say, "Shit, I can be a pro" after your hero turned out to be average? That's what I don't know. I would like to get in the boat with somebody and see that. Uh, but my wife had a good observation, um, and it was kind of about the professional bass fishing as a whole. like professional bass fishing is never going to be a test of the best, really, until you take the money out. Because if you have to pay to do anything, you're never truly going to get the best. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you've got all these professional sports, if all these people in the Major League Baseball, if they all had to pay to play in the minor leagues, not just on raw talent. There's lots of kids at home that would have tons of talent, but no means to get there. But they're not. They go up through college, and then they get drafted, and college pays for their college to play sports, and they're provided that opportunity to go up the ranks by their talent. But in bass fishing, it's not the case. There's probably way more guys out there that are more than capable of doing very well at the professional level, that don't have the means or methods or whatever situation to do it. How many anglers do you think actually fish tournaments without information? Probably not many at all. You got to think there's got to be everybody's got to get a certain level of information. Like I know if I go to a lake, because I don't like talking to people besides y'all, but like about fishing, if I'm going to like compete, I don't need to call anybody and talk to them, or I don't like that. That's just not how I fish. And everybody says that, but I'm being honest. Like I don't have any reason, but everywhere I fish, I typically know anyway. Like down here, I'll call my buddy Keith, and we'll talk about like fishing down here. But I don't know shit about here. That's why I call him. But for the most part, like when I was fishing in college and stuff, I wouldn't talk to anybody. I just go fishing. But if you drop me on like Sam Rayburn, I would probably want to talk to somebody and say, A, what are like the most common knowledge things that like even kids that fish this lake know? Like you don't run here because you'll rip your lower unit off, or you don't do this, you don't like, mainly navigation would be my biggest thing. Or hey, there's this like pipe in the back of this creek that pumps out raw sewage and it killed all the fish in there. You probably shouldn't spend a lot of time in there because there hasn't been a fish caught out of there in 20 years. That's good to know. Like that kind of stuff I would like to know. Fishing patterns and all that kind of shit, don't really care. But I would like I think it was on Bankhead up there on the Warrior River. I didn't know there was like a hot discharge up there that pumped out hot water, and like all the water from like below that in the summertime was like 110 degrees or something. It was like super hot coming out of that plant discharge, but the water up above it was cooler. Had I known that, I probably wouldn't have spent my time fishing below that in that like hot ass water. I would have gone up above it and spent my time, but I didn't. I didn't know any better, so I was like, "Oh, it's real tough. It's real tough because you're fishing in the hottest of water, and you're fishing in a damn crawfish bowl down there." So, but the other thing I learned as I fished, Ray, um, was when I was coming up the ranks in abilities, was that you see these guys and in tournaments, and they're like the guys that win and the guys that like continually beat ass. You see them and you like fish against them, and but you're not like you're like an outsider, right? You're just one of those dudes that's donating, um, and so the I was fishing a tournament on the Coosa one day, and like I said, I was a donator. I was a damn 20-year-old kid that had never fished the Coosa River before in my life, that had no business probably fishing these tournaments, but I was fishing them anyway. And I showed up and like fished the tournament and got my ass kicked. And I'm driving like through the parking lot of uh, the boat ramp at Logan Martin, and like the five like best dudes are all sitting around the boat like shooting the shit, like talking about what they did and talking about their day and like talking about how they caught fish and all this kind of shit. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, y'all are all buddies and y'all are all awesome and y'all aren't talking to anybody that like sucks. Y'all are just talking to people that are good. Hmm, that's interesting. And then you kind of realize that like as I got better and started like maybe winning a tournament here and there, uh, the people who also do good, you get like the nod of approval from them when you start taking their money, right? So you win a couple tournaments and they don't win. They might come in whatever place. So they see you do good and they're like, oh, well, this dude knows his shit. Let me go talk to him. So then after a few years of that, and these guys, they've been doing it for 25 years, so they've known each other forever. Well, then I started noticing it's like, damn, none of these guys talked to me before, but now I have passed the crumb stage, and now the guys that are good will like acknowledge me. And it's amazing the information that people will tell you thinking you know it, because you're like now you're in the click, right? Um, so it's like a weird pecking order that like once you establish yourself as X grade of angler, that same caliber angler kind of gravitates towards each other, and then that's where uh, information gets passed. So those guys, the best, pass around the best information, in my opinion. Um, so very interesting, very interesting. But on the other flip side of it, they get all the other information anyway, because the lesser guys who still have valuable information but might not win or like do as well, they still are out there fishing and gaining knowledge and have something to put to the you know bring to the table. Those guys usually spill their guts anyway. If there's somebody that they see that they think is like a somebody they look up to locally that does real good, I've heard it 100 times. Guys walk up to somebody that's a great angler and just start spilling their guts. Well, that guy takes that and does whatever he wants to with it. So they can get all that information and process it amongst each other and themselves, and you've got like a supercell of information that resides within the circle. Um, but it was very, very interesting to me. Um, but I've always heard from other guys, I don't know if it's true or not, but as far as the pros and the elites go, that the better the pro, the better the info. And I feel like that kind of trickles down to even lower level stuff. Um, because like another example that you could like string this off of, say I'm like number one badass locally, and I've got all my friends that are badasses locally. If I go to say I'm going to Louisiana to fish a tournament, and I say to my buddy who's a badass, "Hey, I'm going to Louisiana. I got a tournament over there. You know anybody over there?" I say, "Yeah." Odds are the guy he knows is a badass in Louisiana. So then you go over there and meet the dude in Louisiana. He's a hammer. And it's like this constant revolving door of badasses talking to badasses. Then but you've got your guys that keep to themselves and are still badasses that don't share information. But there's, uh, certainly groups of people that share that kind of stuff. Um, there's a group of about 10 that are hammers on my local lake, and they only talk to each other as far as what they're doing, and they're all in the money every tournament. Yeah, that's how it is a lot of places. Um, Ray, I think I've heard that. I've heard that. Um, especially from certain organizations. I think you. I think one you're missing that is a major supplier of info is boat dealers. I think a lot comes from them. Uh, no one ever talks to me, and I'm never in the money. No, no, keep doing your thing. That's the way to do it anyway. Because most of the time, once you get in the money, people wanting to start to talk to you, they're just trying to suckle information off of you because you kick their ass. So yeah, just stay silent, do your thing. Your time will come, and then when the cockroaches come crawling, say, "Where were you 2 years ago, you dickhead?" You also have the AB plus type that take in all the info but never give any. Yeah, certainly. I can say I'm a listener. Like I'll listen to I never ask for typically, you know, specifics back in the day when I like tournament fished a lot. Um, but I would listen to people talk. Like I would always keep my ears open and I would take that what I would hear and I would try and process it in a way to make it make sense that I wouldn't like go down a like I was never the type that somebody would if I heard somebody say, "Oh, they're killing a spook," I'm not going to go out there and throw a damn spook all day. Like this, uh, I'm I'm just I just think that's dumb. But I will put it in my brain. Where might one find a good spook bite? Um, that plays a big role in the difference big time pros and good anglers who are not pro. Oh, for sure. Um, But I don't ask anything and just go fishing and trust what my gun instincts tell you. That's all you can do, Jeremy. That's the only way to do it. But like I used to have guys tell me stuff like back in the day, and like really good anglers, like top tier. They just walk up to me after tournaments and just like start spilling their guts. They'd be like, "Did you fish the lower end?" Like, yeah. I'm like, man, it, this February tournament or this March tournament, this November tournament, this June tournament, this whatever tournament, it's always one down there, and I just keep going up the river. I don't know. And he's like, man, it's been, you know, they, these tournaments down, these tournaments this time of year, they get one. They get one for the last 20 years. They always get one down there, and I don't ever go down there. It's like, I didn't know that. I just fished down there. You know what I mean? That's just because that's where I like to fish. Like it wasn't because I had any like historical knowledge that like tournaments get one here or there or whatever. But uh, then you hear that and you're like, oh well, maybe I'm not so dumb. But you just kind of stumble upon information like that is interesting. Um, yeah, no, you can't ever catch someone else's fish. That is a very true statement, Nate. Um, very true. Did I ever tell you all about when I was at Kentucky Lake? And it was right after the elites had gone there, and Van Dam put on his show down at Big Sandy, and he had this he had this spot at the mouth of Big Sandy, right by the bridge, and it was in this corner. So the bridge goes down, and the bank meets the bridge right here, and it was right in this kind of corner area. And the area is not huge. And I was looking on a map. I was like, cool. And you can see where he's at. And I was like, I wonder where he was at over here. Because I'd found like a bunch of schools of fish right there in the mouth of Big Sandy. And I was like, I wonder where Van Dam was cranking over here. And I went over there and idled around, and I didn't see a whole lot. And at that time, I was using a map. Like I didn't have the GPS card. I went to fish this tournament. I had a 520C in the dash of my boat, and that's what I was gonna, just 2D. Nobody had side scan yet, and I had a 520C, and when I was getting ready for this tournament, I ordered the South map card, Navionics card, and I show up at Kentucky Lake, and I get there and I put my card in, and Kentucky Lake is not on the South card; it's on the East card. But I didn't know that. I just assumed Kentucky was considered the South. Um, so I had idled around and looked on the map and like went everywhere around this corner where Van Dam was just like smashing them. And I never saw anything that was like great, like on my graph or like on my map or anything. And then I put the card in like the last day of practice. I had a East card overnighted, and it shows up like the last day of practice. And I put the card in, and I'm scanning around looking at it, and I'm seeing all my waypoints that I had found with a map. They showed up on the topography of the GPS card. And I was like, oh, that now and like the big picture then made sense as to what I was fishing. Um, because it was certainly pattern. It was a very decisive like pattern of what I was fishing when you saw it like that. And I kind of had an idea, like a really good idea of what I was doing, but it still wasn't the same as seeing your dots on a map, like precisely. So when I saw that, I was like, all right, this is real. Like this is certainly a thing. Um, but I said, ooh, I've got the map now. Let's see where let's see what's going on over there at Van Dam's hole. So I cursored over to that corner, and that whole corner was blank, had not been mapped. But there's like everything within like 30 miles of that place had been mapped. And I started thinking to myself, I was like, Van Dam's in with Lowrance and Navionics is in with Lowrance. I was like, he's big enough and influential enough that I wonder if he got this section of that ledge, like if it was not there on purpose. Maybe, maybe not. Um, but it was sure as shit blank. And to me, that made no sense for that spot to be blank because it would be the easiest spot to like graph. Um, but I was like, I don't think this is a fluke that this part isn't here. Maybe that's just the conspiracy theorist in me. Um, but I don't know if it's. I'm sure it's been mapped now, but I need to look. I need to look. Not that I needed it. There was better schools of fish other places, but um, I mean, we were in Tennessee, so Tennessee's the South. But I've heard those. I've heard the. I've heard the like Navionics Lowrance guys are can be helpful. Uh, could be helpful. So I don't know, but I think that's maybe the kind of shit that happens like way up the ranks. You know what I mean? Um, I just thought it was odd. Thought it was odd. Uh, Doc Talk is funny. It's really hilarious, and it makes it. It would typically, I was usually not the guy that would hang around tournaments and like shoot the shit. I would just want to leave because typically, if I listened to people talk for longer than 5 minutes, I would start to get annoyed and uh, and just laugh at half the shit you heard because it was so far from like any bit of like valuable, truthful knowledge that like you're just sitting around going, dude, shut up. Like you're so full of shit. And I I don't think it does anybody any good. But guys like to tell their fish stories and bullshit each other. I just don't want to be part of being bullshitted. Um, Marty, I'll have to ask Amy. She might have she might have grabbed it. Um, but you know, some people hear that shit and they're like, "Well, I got to go do this," knowing good and well it's all completely bogus. Um, the other thing you always hear is the guys that have in all the tournaments I've fished. I was never that guy, but there's always a guy at the ramp after a tournament that says, "Man, we have 5 minutes left, and I hooked a 6 pounder. And he jumped off right at the boat." And I was thinking to myself, I was like, "Dude, I've fished a ton, and I never get that bite ever. Like I've never had a 5 pounder jump off at the boat in the last 5 minutes. Maybe it's just me, but I never. But how is it that it happens to somebody every tournament?" Nothing is mapped on the Ouachita River. Can't explain that one. Um, Can't explain that one. Yeah, it's kind of a shame, Jeremy. It's kind of a shame that as dominant as Van Dam was and is considered the best to have ever tournament fished. That had he stayed on the elites, he would completely skull crushed everybody there, right? Like that would have been the best like peekaboo move he could have ever pulled. Is everybody's leaving? He's like, yeah, that sounds great. That sounds great. Yeah. And everybody jumps ship, and he's still standing on the ship, and he's like, I'm just kidding. And then he stays over there with a bunch of new guys that don't know what the hell is going on, and he just like destroys everybody. But then I guess that would have been an asterisk by all of his wins that year that it wasn't the full field. But never fished a tournament, Burns. They're fun. The only thing I didn't like about tournaments was I didn't like getting up early. I wish they would make a lazy man's bass tour where you launch at like 8. I could get down with that. I'm not a morning person. I would much prefer to get out there mid-morning. Screw a morning bite. Yeah, there was a few guys, Ray, that you would have thought would have stepped up and kicked some ass, but didn't happen. No, you really don't hear much about Van Dam, sadly. But had he stayed, I think he would have just gone down as like the kingest of the dinglings. But instead, he went from up here to like, and he's still awesome. Like we all know that, but y'all, what do you think? Do you think he was so dominant because of his fishing style, and that the world caught up to it? That's what I'm kind of thinking happened. Is that the rest of the world followed him so closely and like engineered or reverse engineered his fishing style that like the competition caught up and they figured it out. That's my bet. Steve Kennedy, yeah, I thought Steve would have done really good once everybody left. Like Steve, it's your time to shine. Start destroying. He just kind of farted around, but he was sick. I think that's when he was doing his. That was when he had his whatever in his throat. Jeremy, don't get Tim started on Fritz. Back then, everybody was flipping. Fritz was a cranker, and he whipped everybody's ass. You think Iaconelli has the desire to win on the elites, or just fishes to suffice sponsors and social media views? I think really and truly, the best thing about Ike is that he did come from nothing, and he came up through the no matter what a monster marketing machine he has become. At the end of the day, when Ike lays down at night in bed, he is just like all of us in the fact that he loves bass fishing, he loves Bassmasters, he loves BASS, he loves everything that like Ray Scott built, like that era, like that was his dream, and he got to live it. And like, I think, I think he certainly has the desire to win, but I think his main desire is just to stay a part of BASS and like what they do. Um, I think that's what he loved because that's what he grew up looking up to. Um, so I think he's just got too much shit going on. But he did real good in the opens. I don't know why he's had such a shitty year. Um, had such a shitty year on the elites. It's not from skill set. That's for damn sure. The guy knows how to catch them everywhere. Um, Ike is a big info guy. I don't know anybody that's given Ike any info, but I'd like to be a fly on the wall. But there's when those guys go to like the Red River, like I don't think half of them just stumble upon half that shit. Because if they went there with no info, half of them would probably still be sitting in the river channel just fishing the riverbank. Uh, but I'd like for somebody to I'd like for one of the guys of the like the Larry Nixon, like somebody, it wouldn't be Nixon, but somebody from that era that was living it, to write like a book about that time in bass fishing and like what was really going on, like with info and like stories about guys, just a just a truth novel of what bass fishing was up until you know a few years ago, or the 2000s. Yeah, Tim, I would agree. That's what I've always heard, that Roland was the king of utilizing info in a tournament. Um, he was the best at processing it, I think. And I think Jacob Wheeler's really really good at that. You can tell Wheeler something, and I think you can give him an inch and he can take it a mile. Um, but yeah, I don't think Roland hid uh, his like getting help from guides and shit. Because I know there's like that tournament on the Connecticut River where I think he was talking about somebody taking him out. Um, but hard to say though about desire. Ike's smart, dude. He is insanely smart. He knows what to look for, whether it's people. You know, that's the thing about Ike is doing it as long as he has done it. He knows how to read water. He knows how to read people on the water. He knows how to read all that stuff, and he knows how to process it to his advantage. Um, which is where he completely excels against like a normal local angler that makes it to the Elite Series. Like they don't have a clue about shit like that, and Ike is like a wizard at it. Y'all think anybody will make a switch back to the elites with MLF going 5? Um, Travis Stearman asked me this question, but this is before they said they were fishing for 5. Um, I think they will. I think they will. Um, and I really think it's just like a trust thing. Like it's like I really think people just don't trust Boyd. That is not who all got cut from MLF this year. I don't know. I haven't looked. I literally have not been on the MLF website in like 4 years. It makes my mind hurt. Could you get on there and try to find results to see who did what? And it's like, oh, this person caught him on the A team on the 4th day of the tournament, and then this person on the B team caught him on the 6th day of the tournament that qualified him to fish the 12th day of the tournament against the B team. And it's like, dude, what is this shit? It's like, just have 4 days and be done with it. I think in 5 years the NPFL will be above MLF. It's gonna be hard. They better find a taller wallet. Maybe from a maybe from an angling like an angler enjoyment level they will be, but I don't know. I don't know. Like their anglers might be happier and enjoy the format better and the payouts and all that kind of shit, but as far as marketing and advertising and all that kind of shit. But I can see that as far as the trail that if you want to fish at that level, that's the one you fish. Being over MLF, I could certainly see that. Did I miss comments or sorry? Tim Horton is retiring. Yeah, that's probably smart. He really fell off. What happened? What happened to that? I can't handle that dude, Tim. I'll pass. I'm just glad Hackney went back and Christie. Like, that was when I heard Hackney was coming back. I was like, all right, we're good. I don't mind Timmy. I don't. I don't like his I just he I don't know. I just smell a rat with him. Like he's got that like he's too squeaky clean and like all shucks for my type for my taste. You know what I mean? He's too G Willikers for me. AJ, I'm assuming he didn't. Uh, which I didn't understand him being allowed to fish anyway. That makes zero sense. Uh, Tim is a very interesting angler, though. He was a billboard. Yeah, yeah. He was like he was great at that type of like marketing, like the old style, um, the old style. Get up on stage and say, "Man, you know, I just had a great day. I ran that Triton Mercury up the lake, and you know nobody nobody beat me to the hole. That new hole we got the 20x HP. It's real fast. Nobody beat me there. So I just got my Fluger Presidents out, and I just started slinging them out there. My Cordell spots. You know, I really got the job done. I really couldn't see them. I really couldn't have found the fish without my Lowrance electronics and my you know, that kind of sales pitch that we all had to endure our entire lives watching bass fishing. Uh, I'm not faulting the guys. They were just paying their bills, but that was what they were paid to do, and that's how sponsors got their money out of them. But at the end of the day, it was not the most enjoyable thing to watch. You sound like Randy Howell. He's good at it too. He's equally as cringy and good at it to listen to too. I don't even. What did Randy? Not Randy. Tim used to run a. He ran a Procraft. What did he run after that? A Nitro? I think he was a Nitro guy after that. So it wouldn't have been. It wouldn't have been speed. Tim would have been that Mercury Nitro. Uh, Ride so smooth, man. It was so rough out there on the lake. He said, I just cruised to my spot, and I had a long run. I had a long run, and that new Mercury is so fuel efficient, and that Nitro runs so smooth. You know, all my gear was intact. When I know a bunch of guys broke a lot of stuff this week, all my gear is ready to go for the next tournament. We'll see y'all next time. I might buy property here. If you really want to get the crowd going, tell them you want to move there. What happened to Jason Quinn? I don't know. I saw a picture of him not too long ago, and he looked like shit. But I think he's like I think he's like a striper guide or something, or he was. Kyle, what's up, dude? His gear was enacted, but the boat was cracked. Quinn must be a hell of a salesman, though. Because Quinn was not the cream of the crop as far as tournament anglers go. But that dude had a freaking sweet ass deal with Evan Williams. I'm sure some of y'all remember his big rig, but that son of a bitch had like a damn 18 wheeler that pulled a tractor trailer that had his boat and truck in it. Had like a hydraulic lift inside that would like lift his boat up, dude. It was nuts. How do you convince Evan Williams to pay for that? I think Quinn missed his calling in corporate sales. Did Southern Comfort, something like that. I couldn't remember. I thought it was Evan Williams. It might have been Southern Comfort. Some booze. He also got stuck as hell with that trailer. That doesn't surprise me. Like, I really wouldn't want to. Like, as cool as it was, like, who really wants to deal with that big ass thing? He was Evan Williams. There you go. I know it wasn't crazy. Did Jason Quinn sue Bernie Sanders for real? Who paid for Howells? Was his Purelator, or was that was before? What happened to those guys? Is Instagram frozen? Because I haven't seen a comment in forever. If you're still there, Instagram, I'm just going to get off of you. Bye. Come to the red and white side over here at YouTube. Join me. I'm getting off of here. See you. Purelator, yeah. Randy done anything lately? 2008 is what happened. Correct. That is when the economy took a huge shit. Which I managed to survive 2008. It took 4 years for me to lose my job. 2012 put me down for the count. We weathered the storm for 4 years. Y'all remember when Randy and his wife used to do the love seat talks on Facebook? Bernie Sanders used a video of him in his boat referencing drugs being smuggled by sea. I mean, I could see where he would. I guess he probably won that lawsuit, eh? Was that a defamation suit? Yeah, 2008 to 2012 were not fun times in the U.S. economy. When Howell is the same little town I'm from, he was a guy on Lake Gaston when he was a kid. Dick. How did I let that slip by? AJ? But yeah, I would it's probably never going to happen, but I would love to see somebody do a tell-all book. I wish Ike would do it. Ike's got the balls to do it, I think, but I think he's too deep corporate with sponsors that he could ever like really like tell the truth. I would really probably just like we just need Ike to retire and not fish anymore. Like him to just hate bass fishing and just cut all ties with everything in the bass fishing industry, and then make his tell-all. And if you've never read Ike's book, it's awesome. It is awesome. I wish he'd write another one. Come on, you dick. Tim, we fished Kerr on the weekends. Grew up in Williamsburg. We got a damn family reunion going on over here. Uh, 2020. AJ, how are bait sales? Are they moving? You selling some stuff? But I figured, like, out of all the guys that fished back in the 90s, early 2000s, that lived the tour life, that there would be one of them that would just be like, screw it. I'm going to tell y'all what really went on through my eyes. That would be very interesting. That would be very interesting. Will we ever see it? Probably not. I just saw Castledine posted a video about MLF going to 5. Man, I had to sell some RC rock crawlers. Oh, there's my wife. All right. Later, YouTubes. I got to get off of here. Amy's calling. See ya.